I have had the good fortune of traveling around to a wide variety of companies. In these travels, I've observed that at least 25% of the time, corrective action fell into one of these categories: written warning, verbal reprimand, counseled employee, publicly humiliated, employee dismissed. In other words, we took corrective action on people instead of the process. This is basically the same as taking action on symptoms. Our process remains the same, the problem remains in place, and we've demoralized our workforce. In reality, there are times when discipline of some sort is entirely appropriate, but certainly it is the exception rather than the rule. If employee discipline is the primary means of problem solving at your organization, then you can rest assured that few problems will ever get solved. Problems that correctly result in employee discipline include violation of law, violation of company policy or work rules, serious ethics lapses, harassment of coworkers, and inappropriate behavior. Another key principle of problem solving is that we assign ownership for the problem. You will assign the primary responsibility for managing a problem-solving project to an individual, not a team, committee, or group, but a competent individual who will ensure that progress is made and the problem-solving method is followed. As W. Edwards Deming once said, shared responsibility means nobody's responsible. Assigning responsibility does not mean that the project manager alone must work on the problem. The project manager will assemble whatever team members they need, but we will always have a single point of contact for knowing the status of our problem solving. Ownership breeds accountability, and accountability breeds success. When our project manager begins assembling team members to assist in problem solving, he needs to avoid selecting people who think and act just like him. Team members should represent different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. In fact, the people you'd prefer to not have on your team are exactly the ones you need to invite. The reason is that these people think differently than you and will challenge your biases regarding the correct course of action. They will force you to think outside your comfort zone, and this usually results in more effective problem solving. If you assemble a team of people just like you run the risk of groupthink, whereby the team members begin to think exactly alike and fail to engage in constructive debate. Your secret weapon in your problem-solving journey will be a structured problem-solving method. This is a step-by-step guide for attacking your problems. Just as most people wouldn't think about baking a cake without a recipe, you shouldn't consider solving a problem without a method. Most people are not natural problem solvers, and they need this kind of explicit guidance. The problem-solving method will ensure that everybody approaches the problem in a consistent and logical way. It will prevent the deadly disease of problem solving, which is jumping to conclusions. With the problem-solving method, we fully complete one step before moving on to the next one. We don't skip steps, and we don't jump around. We follow the method as if it was a cake recipe handed down from your great-grandmother. This is the problem-solving method that we will use during the rest of the course. It is a 6-step method that will almost guarantee success if we put the right amount of discipline into each activity. People will occasionally claim that following a problem-solving method will restrict their creativity. The truth is the exact opposite. The method provides basic structure and removes the uncertainty about what happens first, second, third, etc. This structure frees up participants to concentrate on the creative part instead of having to worry about procedural steps. We'll cover each of these in detail later in the presentation, but let's briefly run down the list. Step 1 is evaluate opportunities. Step 2 is write the problem statement. Step 3 is define the current process. Step 4 is identify causes. Step 5 is plan and implement actions. Step 6 is verify effectiveness. Let's dive into our problem-solving method. You'll see how all these steps fit together to make a seamless engine for improvement. And the first step is knowing what problems are worth fixing.